Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about our Sacred West of Ireland tours. I'm speaking to you from one of the many beautiful beaches which are near our healing centre on the Sligo coast of the West of Ireland. And basically, our Sacred West of Ireland tours are listed on the tours page of our Druid Forest School website. And they fall really into three categories. Vision journeys to meet the gods and goddesses of the Tuatha, Danaan, whose presence is so much here. The sacred weapons of the ancient Irish, the four sacred weapons, or the four treasures as they're sometimes known. And the second group of tours is all about W.B. Yeats' country. And at the end of my brief talk, Maggie will do a pan to actually show you parts of the landscape just over there that, for example, feature in W.B. Yeats' poem, The Hosting of the She. And thirdly, there are tours simply to the utterly beautiful landscape around here. It's peerless, it's special. And the earth energies are particularly high, particularly in places where humans and cars don't go. And indeed, it was the quartz energies in the rocks that drew the Ireland's first farmers, the Neolithic farmers here, all the way from Turkey, as DNA and wheat research shows. And indeed drew the Tuatha Danaan, I would say about 2,500 years ago. Okay, how do the tours work? Well, basically, the tours we offer that we have prepared are listed on the tours page of the Druid Forest School website. And quite simply, you phone up Maggie and book on a day or days of mutual convenience. And then we meet up with you at a rendezvous point nearby to the sacred destination. So let's look in a little bit more detail about those three categories of tours. And so the first I mention is to meet the gods and the goddesses of the ancient Irish in a beautiful place of nature, a place of strong earth energies. And these vision meetings are also available online if you look at the courses page of the Druid Forest School website. So who are the gods and the goddesses of the ancient Irish? Well, they are like immeasurable, special faces of the ultimate divine. Fortunately, medieval manuscripts preserved for us just a taster, really, of what they're about. But before those monks wrote the manuscripts in the Middle Ages, knowledge of the gods and goddesses of the Tuatha Danaan was preserved orally. And so basically what happened was the Tuatha Danaan came to Ireland, I believe landing near here, I would say about 2,500 years ago, and came with their gods. So this is the time of like the Iliad of Homer, when the gods walked the earth and the divisions between human and divine were not as cut off as they are in modern times. And so the list is long, but perhaps the great goddess is goddess Danaan. She was brought here by the Tuatha Danaan. She is the goddess of the rising waters that feed the land. She's the goddess of the land. She's the mother of the Tuatha Danaan. And indeed, rivers such as the Danube and the Dnieper are named after goddess Danaan. And then there's the Dagda, the good god, and he has a cauldron of plenty, and so we can journey to meet the Dagda and look into and receive from the cauldron of plenty. He has other sacred weapons. There's the Morrigan, the war goddess, the ethical defender of your sovereignty. We all need to be able to ethically defend our sovereignty. And indeed, the mating of the Morrigan and the Dagda on the day before the Second Battle of Moytura was what assured victory, what brought sovereignty to the Tuatha Danaan. So the sacred union of masculine and feminine, hello there, was key to the divine understanding of the ancient Irish. And the list is endless. There's Angus, the god of love. There's the incredibly beautiful Medea and Itae. Ogma, the warrior and the writer. So you get the idea, and we have like well-worked places to go to that are ideal for these gods and goddesses, and presentations and vision journeys. Now, as I said, the second category of tours is to do with W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats is, I feel, Ireland's greatest poet. And indeed, when I was an undergraduate at Oxford, I studied W.B. Yeats and T.S. Eliot as harbingers for the new age. And 100 years ago and more, it was W.B. Yeats and Lady Gregory and A.E., George Russell, and Ella Young, is it, who brought in connection to the Tuatha Danaan gods. You see, what happened was the Tuatha Danaan were people of great skill and great divine knowledge, great craftsmen, and they were very much one with their gods. And they came to Ireland after a period of exile, learning much magic on their endless voyages. And their mission was to restore Ireland to the divine intention that the gods had for this pure land. The original or earlier inhabitants, the Fomorians, had gone dark, twisted and evil. And so the Tuatha Danaan had a mission to restore Ireland, and they defeated the Fomorians. But then another wave of invaders came, the Milesians from Spain, and the Tuatha Danaan said, that's it. We cannot preserve our special connection with the divine, our special skills, having to sort of endlessly fight these battles. And so they retired to the hollow hills, the hollow mounds, and they waited there for humanity to be able to receive their message again. And it was with the coming of W.B. Yeats and Lady Gregory just over 100 years ago that the door to the Tuatha Danaan was opened a crack. But now it's opened more, and you can come and meet them on our Sacred Island tours. So W.B. Yeats is a supreme poet, and he's actually buried just at the foot of Ben Bulben over there. That's where his grave is. And he wrote supreme divine poems like The Hosting of the She, The Lake Isle of Innisfree, The Fiddler of Dooney, The Face You Had Before the World Was Made. Many, many, many poems because he was receiving the energy and inspiration of this land. And so just over there, Maggie's going to do a pan at the end, is indeed Knocknarea. So the poem of The Hosting of the She starts with the she hosting on Knocknarea, and over there is Ben Bulben. And he describes the host of the she rising from Knocknarea, exalted. There's a wonderful, putting it to music version by the Waterboys, An Appointment with Mr. Yeats, I think it's called. And the she fly over the bed of the Hag in the Ballygawley Mountains and then move round to host again on the great jutting pinnacle that is Ben Bulben. standing eternally above the waves and the clouds. And we're near Slishwood and Hazelwood, you name it. And just over there, by the way, is Lissadell Peninsula, where W.B. Yeats often visited and where Constance Markievicz was brought up. The woman who was one of the chief leaders of the uprising of 1916. You know, a wonderful place to visit. And yes, the third category is simply utterly beautiful places round here. There's the Lockheed Forest Park, which is so beautiful, you know, to visit. The North Mayo Genealogy Centre, Enniscote House, many, many beautiful places. They may not have connections to the energies and visions of the gods, nor to the poetry of W.B. Yeats, but you can phone us up and we can take you to these beautiful places as the third category of tours. So that's enough for me. The tours will be listed at the end of 2018 for tours that will take place and be available in 2019. So watch this space. And now Maggie's going to do you a pan to show you this sacred ancient landscape from a beach just near the healing centre where we live on the Sligo coast. Thank you.